constantly focused on Lulu's back and the side of her waist. Massaged gently. Tom didn't care what Lulu was thinking. He was treating her based entirely on a doctor-patient relationship. In the beginning, he massaged gently and began to add more strength in the later part. His technique was unique and constantly focused on Lulu's back and the side of her waist. Time passed and the pain gradually lessened until Lulu felt no pain. Instead, she felt very comfortable. The comfy feeling made her even more infatuated with Tom. At this moment, bursts of intermittent ripples in her heart had all disappeared as a deep enjoyment replaced it. She had to fight her eyelids from closing, but she soon fell into a deep sleep under Tom's massage. After a long while, Tom stopped massaging. He secretly took a deep breath and grabbed the blanket on the side to cover Lulu's body. Then he turned around and left the bedroom. It was 10 a.m. when Tom woke up from his sleep. He took a short shower and went downstairs to the first floor. When he saw that the nanny was busy cooking in the kitchen and Natalie was sitting on the sofa, he asked with an astonished expression, "Has Lulu not woken up?" Natalie smiled. "Since Tiffany and I have woken up, we haven't seen her. Wasn't she driven out by you yesterday? I've not seen her since." Tom shook his head and said, "She came back last night. Anyway, forget it. Regardless of her issue, we'll leave for Star City after lunch. Can you book the plane tickets online?" Natalie said, "Okay, I'll do it right away." The nanny who returned this morning realized that Tom was an honorable guest, so all the dishes she prepared were delicious. After having sated their hunger and thirst, they did not see that Lulu had woken up. Tom did not have the intention of personally bidding her farewell. While carrying his travel bag, he held Tiffany's small hand as they left. As for the medicinal herbs and the materials he had bought, he had already sent them to Star City via a courier company. Many things have happened in the last week. Tom secretly sighed and thought when he stepped into Star City again. Even though he got a good harvest on this long journey, there was also some regret, since he still did not know the Everlasting Feast Hall's founder as to whether the restaurant had a special relationship with his first apprentice, whom he had received thousands of years ago. In Southgate, the first thing Tom did was charge his phone's battery. He had experienced many things in the last several days, but after he boarded the plane, he remembered that there had been no phone calls in the previous 2 days. Having seen his phone, it turned out that it was out of battery and had shut down automatically. After booting the phone, Shiner was the first person Tom contacted, of whom he got the news that the fierce beast remains he brought back from Derek had already been sent to the freezer compartment in the old Street River area. Then he ordered Shiner and Petals to wait momentarily for the 6 fierce beast carcasses being delivered there. There were still a few days left to report to school from the 1 week of holiday Daryl had helped him get, and Tom did not want to go back to school ahead of time. He had long finished learning the high school's curriculum and could take the college entrance test at any time, so he felt it would only be a waste of time to stay in the classroom every day. So for the last 2 days, Tom decided to make the Golden Bell liquid. His cultivation was stuck at the vitality tempering peak stage, causing him not to cultivate rashly. Only after he reached the skin strengthening stage did he feel he would have the assurance to safely survive in today's society. After properly settling Natalie and Tiffany, he rushed to the old Street River area, where he had ordered Shiner to drive a small container van and wait for him. In the afternoon, Shiner and Petals were squatting next to a small container van in front of the freezer compartment in the old River Street area. Seeing that Tom had come, they immediately put out their cigarettes and greeted him. "Boss, what are your orders?" Tom said, "I'll choose some fierce animal bones and remains, and you'll help me deliver them to my Southgate house. Take the $1 million in this bag I got here. You'll need the money and have to go to many places later to help me. Remember to call me when the money runs out." Shiner and Petals glanced at the black bag Tom gave them. They had never seen such a vast sum of money. Immediately, their attitude toward Tom became more respectful, as they felt more that they had made the right decision in following him. Tom selected some excellent materials and ordered Shiner and Petals to move them to the small container van. Since the material composition for the Golden Bell liquids recipe was different from the Immortal World recipe, he prepared many materials for it. He filled up half the van. "I should take the driver's license test if I have time later." Tom thought that once he could use a flying sword, he could traverse thousands of miles in one step. But until then, he had to start everything from scratch, and having no means of transportation was troublesome, especially in present society. On the way back to Southgate, Tom asked Shiner about his mother's situation, and upon hearing the restaurant was flourishing, he felt relieved. "Boss, I don't know what to say to you, but there's something I want to report." While driving, Shiner hesitantly spoke. Tom asked, "What's up? Tell me." "Boss, Sean Masters came to the restaurant yesterday and wanted to borrow money from your mother. Your kind-hearted mother kept thinking that Sean Masters had helped you, so she lent him $100,000. However, he thought it was too small of an amount, so he refused the money and cursed at your mother." Sean Masters? Tom's brows slanted as cold lights flashed from his eyes. He thought that after the things that happened at Star City Medicinal Herbs Market, he had learned his lesson, would no longer disturb his family again. But he had never thought that he still dared to be arrogant to his mother, even though his visit was to borrow some money. Tom disliked Sean. He would have Sean's family disappear from this world forever if he could. Tom silently thought as he turned his head and looked outside through the window. Is blood thicker than water? What a big joke. Without feeling any emotional attachment, what's the use of being of the same blood and coming from the same root? If he dares to do anything excessive again, I won't hesitate to kick his family out of Star City. Meanwhile, at the Star City Garden upscale area, with an unsightly expression, Sean sat in his study, looking at a screen that showed his remaining bank account balance. Since Jasper Jorgensen targeted his real estate company, his business faced many difficulties and was on the verge of bankruptcy. Even though Jasper spared him, it was worsening each day. Many suppliers intentionally raised the price of building materials, causing severe miscalculations in the budget of his most important project. And the bank that previously gave its word to lend him a large sum of capital also did not give him any news. Recently, he visited the bank and even promised a lot of commission for the bank's executives. Still, the manager's attitude indicated that he could not give the loan, even though their friendship would continue. Under such desperation, only then did he think about that cheap nephew of his. He did not dare to find Tom directly because of what happened last time. Instead, he had gone to the restaurant to find Linda. Much to his surprise, Linda's restaurant business was booming, but she was only willing to lend him $100,000. What would $100,000 be enough for? It was even less than 1/10 of the money he gave to the bank executives. Sean Masters fiercely smashed the ashtray in his hands as anger flashed from his eyes while he cursed in a whisper. What a horrible sister and nephew. Outsiders are even better than them. When they were down in the pit, I was the one who provided relief for them. But now they've climbed and risen. They want to kick me aside. What an illusion. If it were not for that bastard Tom, how could my master's real estate end up in such a dire situation? I can't put hope in my bank. I can't rely on my crappy old friends either. My last hope is only to rely on Linda and Tom. I must find a way to satisfy them and obtain my goals so they would give out money on their initiative. Moreover, it's best to yield first to Tom to approach and create a relationship with the Jorgensen Group. If I could climb up to the Jorgensen Group's top brass, only then will I rake in the money. Lights flashed from Sean's eyes as he was deep in thought. He cast away every deriding thought that appeared as he made up his mind in one go. But since he felt he could not get to Tom, he thought he must focus his efforts on Linda. After putting all the materials into his villa's warehouse in Southgate, Tom sent Shiner away before entering. Everything had been prepared, and the only thing left was some small crucial items before he began to concoct the Golden Bell liquid. By night, the medicinal ingredients should be delivered. What should I do now? There's still time till noon. Tom stood in the warehouse as he found that he suddenly had nothing to do and was bored. His cell phone rang and interrupted his thoughts. Tom took the phone and looked at the caller ID number. It was Billy Jorgensen. Then he pressed the answer button and asked, "What's up? I'm swamped right now and have no time." Billy's exaggerated voice came from the other end of the cell phone.
"Tom, you finally picked up. I'm dead tired of being bugged by my big brother. He said Paul's been trying to contact you and couldn't get through. I've answered his calls 18 times already."
I know. I will call Paula. Give your brother my regards. Billy cried. So you've returned to Star City? How are the preparations going for our get-rich plan? Tom stared blankly for a moment before recalling the time when he was about to leave for Chadworth Island. Billy had talked about the mass production of male enhancement and medication products. After having thought for a moment, he slowly said, I just got back to Star City and will return to Southgate soon. I'll tell you the answer tonight. Billy laughed. Then I'll wait for your good news. Are you bored? Want me to accompany you? You're no beauty, but you are still quite attractive since you can make me rich. Tom cursed and laughed loudly before hanging up the phone. Then Tom called Paula after finding her number. The phone connected when Paula's voice rang out. Boss, you're just like a ghost. I've called dozens of times since yesterday and couldn't connect with you. Where are you now? I've arrived in Star City and want to see you immediately. Boss? Tom smiled and was very satisfied with the title. Through this address, he knew that Paula had complied to work for him. Come to Southgate. I'll be waiting for you at my home. I'll text the address. All right. About half an hour after Paula called him, she was detained by the villa security. After calling the security chief, Paula could only enter the villa complex. Boss, it's really not easy to see you. Paula was wearing a working blazer suit with gold-rimmed eyeglasses, giving off a spirited, capable, and competent look. After seeing Tom, a wry smile was revealed on her beautiful face. Tom gestured for her to sit on the sofa and said, Have the test results come out? Are there any problems with those two formulas? Paula nodded and said, It has been tested. There are no harmful substances for the human body. In addition, I've already registered the company and need to arrange the organizational structure. But since I couldn't contact you, I took the initiative and named the company. Tom asked, What is the name? Paula said, The Stevens Group. Tom savored it a few times inside before he replied with satisfaction. That's a very good name. It's to my taste. I've told you before that I've given you the rights and privileges to create the company as well as manage it. You only need to inform me of issues you cannot handle, and I'll figure out the solution. Paula nodded and continued. This is the company's original registered documents, and I'll be holding the copies. The company's owner and main stakeholder are you. Tom received it casually and skimmed through it. Then he placed it on the table in front of him and said, I think having only 2 products is not enough. Moreover, we cannot solely have our business in cosmetics. We should expand to some other fields, such as beverages. Paula interrupted Tom and then said seriously, Boss, we've just founded our company and there are many issues we've yet to handle, such as packaging, logo design, factory construction, production lines, equipment, and many others. Besides, the money you gave me for our starting capital won't be enough. I think it's too early to develop new products. Tom took out his phone, transferred $80 million to Paula, and said, I don't have much money right now. You use this money first, and then you call me later if the funds are insufficient. You can use it according to our financial situation. Paula was astonished. Didn't you say you had no money several days ago? How come you have so much money in just a short time? Tom forced a smile and said, I've had some opportunities, but now I'm $2.5 billion in debt. Therefore, you must work hard to make money for me. $2.5 billion? Paula stared at Tom in disbelief as she said, What did you do? How come you have a debt of $2.5 billion? Tom replied casually, I participated in an auction and found an extremely valuable place, so I bought it. If you work hard for me, I can take you to have your vacation there. What kind of treasure would have a price of $2.5 billion? Paula exclaimed in disbelief. Tom said, It's a private island in the Pacific Ocean. Paula looked at Tom. After hesitating for a moment, she finally braced herself to ask cautiously, Boss, you indeed have the ability, but who has such boldness to even dare to lend you $2.5 billion? Tom originally did not want to answer Paula's question, but she was to be his right-hand person, so he could not help but answer it with difficulty. Jasper Jorgensen, a student of mine. Jasper Jorgensen? Paula's mind searched for the name. 10 seconds later, her eyes turned into saucers as she exclaimed, Jasper Jorgensen? Doesn't he own a prominent pharmaceutical company? Is he your student? How is this possible? Tom calmly said, And why would it be impossible? Do you think I'm not worthy as his teacher? Paula gulped and replied with a disbelieving expression. I don't believe it. What does he need to learn from you? I know that Jasper Jorgensen's company is worth a few billion in market value. However, with the shares he has bought from other companies, he has a lot of money each year from his shares dividends. Jasper Jorgensen's net worth exceeds $10 billion. Tom said lightly, Even if someone has trillions in assets, I will never accept him as a student if I don't like him. Anyways, let's get back to our main topic. If you have the energy and will, you can separately branch out the subsidiary company and manage its business development. I already have an idea, so if you think that's feasible, then do it. If you think you don't have time and energy to manage the business or the new type of products, I can give it to someone else. Paula shook her head and said, I have the energy, but I still don't recommend making a subsidiary company now. If you do want to do it, then it's fine with me. I'll let another subordinate handle it. Tom said, All right, then I'll give it to another. Recalling the 2 products that had been given to her made Paula's mind move. And then she asked curiously, Boss, as far as I know, the beverage market has been dominated by major brand companies. A new kind of beverage product entering the market would be very difficult. Only if you spend a huge amount of money on marketing would it be possible to become well known and take some market share. Of course, this also must be supported with the premise that it has a good flavor, taste, and uniqueness. Tom calmly listened to Paula and admitted that he had yet to learn a lot of knowledge. You're good. Your business knowledge is far beyond mine. I want to run a beverage business. The uniqueness is that it can strengthen a man's sexual ability. What? Paula was stunned. A deadpan expression covered her face. Tom said, Speaking about this drink, maybe it's better to say it's medicinal. The effect is to nourish positive energy and invigorate the kidney. An excellent supplement to increase one's health. Its unique characteristics is that it can help men by prolonging their endurance. For women, it nourishes their spirit and greatly improves body metabolism. Paula suddenly stood up from the sofa as her beautiful eyes stared at Tom and hastily asked, Is that for real? Does it really have those effects, with no side effects on the human body? Tom laughed. Yes, I'll tell you, the effect is real. No side effects exist. Paula's breathing quickened rapidly, and then she said, Boss, I take back my words. I was wrong. I'll take this product under my management. Once this product is listed on the market, I'm sure it will cause a great sensation, even more than the 2 products you gave me earlier. Are you sure? Asked Tom. Paula replied firmly, Yes, absolutely. Tom snapped his fingers and said, You handle the company's establishment. Give me a few days and I'll send you the product sample, and you can try it if you want to. Paula's mouth twitched a few times. If the effects were as Tom had said, she would use it. With a complex expression, Paula glanced at Tom and couldn't help but sigh. Boss, I'm clueless about how deep your brain is. For grasping such strange knowledge in the hands of other businessmen, your 3 products would have produced a significant profit. Tom faintly smiled and said, I have some knowledge about medicinal herbs, and I usually find something while researching randomly when I have nothing to do in my free time. Paula nodded and said, I've sent the 2 product samples you've given me before to be tested. The results concluded that they have roots in Eastern medicine. Speaking about that, I have a suggestion that I think you can consider, boss. Tom replied in astonishment. What suggestion? If it's good, I'll take your advice.
Difficult for him to put 2 and 2 together.